Good afternoon guys, this is Ace back with another Transformers review, and this time I've got something which I've been looking forward to for a very long time. This is the Perfect Effect Thundershred. Now this guy is a remake or a redo or whatever you want to call it of the G1 Insecticon, and I actually do have that as well. We'll have a look at it a little later, but I was very excited when I saw that this guy was going to be coming out. I've already got this guy, and the other two Insecticons I have pre-ordered them because where I get them, Big Bad Toy Store, didn't have them in stock. So I've got them pre-ordered, and as soon as they come in, they'll be shipped out to me and I'll do a review of those guys. But this guy is something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I mean, ever since I saw the pictures. They look very blue here, huh? The color scheme over here looks like it's blue, black, and yellow, when in actual reality it is purple. And I mean, if you look at the pictures, this guy looks phenomenal. You know, he's got a lot of accessories. He actually looks like a proper bot over here, rather than just having something really big sticking out as well, like his G1 counterpart did. But over here, he looks really good. And I mean, if you look at this, I mean, it's got a ton of different accessories. I am assuming a lot of these things will combine to make this thing over here, but this is something we'll have to see once we get this guy open. I just got this guy recently, and I got this with a couple of different things which I want to show you. They're not too big. I got it with the Transformers Energon Strongarm. I don't know why I got this. I don't have too many Energon figures, but this one, you know, when I was looking at it online, it looked kind of cool. I mean, the biggest thing is he didn't have his head or face completely visible in alt mode, and this is one of the main reasons I don't get too many Energon figures. I mean, if you look at Ironhide, for example, the figure itself is cool, but the character in the anime was annoying, and you know, you see his whole head in his alt mode, and that's why I didn't get that one. But this one looked pretty cool, and reminds me a lot of the alternators. But this one looks pretty cool. In addition to that, I also got these really cool things. Now, I don't know what to expect from something like this, and when I was ordering it, I was actually thinking it would be a little bit bigger. So I was surprised when it actually came out to be really tiny. Now what we have over here is basically one of those matchbox things, and in the 80s in Japan we used to get this. Well, we used to get, I wish, but we got this, which is a candy toy. And in addition to the candy toy, if we open it up, you actually got the parts for a miniature transformer. Oh, very cool. Now, it was advised that, I mean, from the looks of it, I would definitely say do not eat these, because, you know, this is from the 1980s. It's a good 25 years plus, 30 years. Forget it. You're not going to eat this unless you want to get really bad stomachache. But if you look at this, you actually get small pieces which will help you to make a transformer. The 4 transformers you do get are Optimus Prime, Prowl, Starscream, and Sideways. Or, yeah, I think Sideways. So, and they're completely randomly packed, so you have no idea what you're going to be getting. So you get the suite, and you get the parts over here. Now this is yellow, and it seems to be, there we go. It is Optimus Prime. There we go. And technically you are supposed to be able to put him together so he becomes both robot mode as well as alt mode. But I have no idea how it is, and I don't see any instructions. Alright, there we go. So we do get the instructions as well for all the different ones. And as you can see, we can transform him into both robot mode as well as alt mode. So this is pretty cool. Now the thing is, I didn't know what to expect, so I got 2 of them. And I know they are completely randomly packed, so I am praying to God that I do not get exactly the same one. I wouldn't mind getting Starscream. So let's have a look. There we go. Scheiße. Well, at least now I can paint one, and I can keep one in its original way, somehow to be, you know, in its packaging. Well, there you go. So that's pretty much it. It's a small thing, so I didn't want to do a completely separate goodie bag video for this guy. Back to the main point of this video, which is Thundershred. Now, the packaging of this is absolutely fantastic. I believe it's part of this Casualty series, and they're coming up with some very nice figures. This is the first Perfect Effect figure that I do have, and it's simply because they're pretty expensive, you know. I didn't want to spend that much money on these guys, but as soon as I figured out that they're going to be coming out with the Insecticon line, I said I had to get it, because the Insecticons are some of my favorite Transformers, and especially when I see such an amazing improvement over the older one, you gotta get it. Absolutely gotta get it. And I love the way they've done this. The packaging is very much like the old G1 toys, and you know, with the checkered and the images, it's beautiful. It's really a very nice packaging. Alright, let's get this guy open and see what he looks like. Alright, so now that we've got this guy out of his packaging, you do see that you get quite a lot. And I am quite impressed with this guy just right out of the bat. First thing we get is, of course, his tech spec card. And I absolutely love it when they give us these things. You know, just to give us a little bit of a profile on the guy, what he is, what he does, and, you know, these sort of things. So I'm just going to hold this up here for you guys to see if you guys can read it. I'm not going to read it aloud a lot, but you know, if you want, you can pause the video and have a read through it. It's pretty interesting. It's not exactly the best, but it's not bad. Alright, so that's the actual tech spec card. In addition to this, you also get, obviously, the instruction sheet on how to transform this guy, and it's really done nicely. I mean, unlike the normal ones, this thing is in complete color. And it's very similar to the olden styles, and you know, this thing shows you how all the different things are going to happen, how are you going to transform this guy. You've got colored pieces, so basically all the red aspects are what you're going to use to move this around. And you know, it's done pretty well. It's done very, very nicely. In addition to this, you also get the figure itself, obviously, and you get these. This is the actual weapon system for him. And the way it works is you get this piece, which is basically a connector piece. We'll come back to that. But the way how this guy is going to work is that he has, and again, the colors are showing him very blue, but believe me, this is a very dark purple. It's got no blue in it whatsoever. And you've got these pieces over here, which are on a joint like that. So he is able to move this around a little bit. And this just pegs in. This just pegs in over here, nice and easily like that. And these things, which are his blades, and he has 4 of them, they go into these slots over here. Now this is a little bit of a tight fit, so don't be afraid to actually push it in a little bit. And this gives him some amazing, amazing claws, you know, almost like his Wolverine. And then the other thing we can actually do, if we want him to get his actual look a lot more like his G1 counterpart, is we can actually take off these things complete with these little wrenches, I guess you could call them. And if you look over here, we actually have spaces where we can put these guys. So if we just hook them onto here like that, and same thing on this side. If I can get him in there, just like that, then it's just a matter of getting these guys in the correct positions. And there we go. So now you can tell that he looks a lot more like his G1 counterpart. And you know, there's just a lot of different things we can do with this thing. I mean, even this, officially, if we want, we can actually make this guy look like this, and this is how he looks on the packaging. So we have this thing up there, just like this, and this piece, which kind of connects everything together, can actually be stored at the back. So if we want, we can actually take all of these out from there and put him on the back, so he has the ninja star on his back, and everything is stored away very nicely. This connector system is actually done very nicely. You've got this peg over here, which is what he is going to use to actually hold his weapons. And then we just go in, simply plug in all the blades, and we make something that looks very similar to a ninja star. But obviously this is a weapon, and you know, this guy, if you can imagine him holding his weapon like that, swinging it around, and you can just imagine him throwing it at the Autobot. So this looks pretty damn cool, honestly speaking. Very, very nice. No complaints whatsoever. The figure itself is excellent. it's everything that you would expect of a Transformer, especially coming out with the new ones. The only problem with this guy is its head. Now, looks wise, he's fine. I can't really complain. He's got the lead piping and everything, but just look at the size. Oh my god, I mean, this guy's head doesn't even reach above his shoulders. Just barely. His mohawk does, but you know, apart from that, nothing. And what's actually really cool is his head looks a lot like a Gundam. I mean, you can just imagine the head. This is the front camera. You got the eyes and the face mask. It's almost like a Gundam. This is what really threw me off, and I was very happy to see it. The kit itself, articulation-wise, is excellent. These guys are here on a ball joint, so they're going to move all 360, but they do come off a little bit easy. So you have to be careful. When you're playing with this guy. And otherwise it moves all which way. The elbows again do have an amazing bend. They move very nicely. This is just a little bit annoying part. I mean, you need to have this connection over here for the transformation, but it's just, you know, sometimes when you're moving him around, it just looks a little bit weird, like his shoulder is just popping out. So just be a little wary on that. And it is connected over here through this one silver pin, so try not to force it too much, otherwise you might end up breaking it. There is a very little bit of a waist movement here. I wouldn't do too much because the rest of it is literally for the transformation, so you're only gonna get this much. And it's a little bit of a tight fit for me, at least in my figure. It's very tight, it doesn't move very easily. If you move these out of the way, we've got our legs, and the hips are on a ball joint, both of the legs, so they do move in and out a little bit. And again, on mine, the joints are extremely tight, which I prefer. I prefer having tight joints. They do move all the way around, so they can go very high in the front and they can go very high in the back. There we go. And just to show you, because of the transformation, this guy's leg can bend all the way back. So articulation wise, this guy is very cool. He's going to be able to give you all the effects, all the poses that you're going to need. The feet, I love how they've done this. The very typical transformation in terms of the new ones, but you do get a lot of mobility. I mean, from left to right, you get him all the way, up and down, you get it. So, you know, mobility wise, this guy is excellent. You're going to get a lot of good poses on this guy. Even on the back, if we come and have a look at all these legs, and these are going to be the legs for its insect mode or alt mode. Even these have a good degree of posability, so you can move them around, you can move them up and down, in and out. I mean, there's a ball joint over here and there's a ball joint over here, so it does move a lot. You're gonna get some good amount of detail and mobility out of this guy. I know there's a bit of a gap over there, but hey ho, no worries on that. So as a figure itself, this guy is absolutely fantastic. A big improvement over its old G1 counterpart, which is over here. Now, if you remember the old G1, nothing beats G1 in my opinion anyway. This is a little bit dusty. Nothing beats the G1 in my opinion anyway, but I mean, if you just compare the two figures that were together, I mean, you know, number one, you don't have these anymore, and instead of that you get this weapon here, which is pretty cool. I mean, I've got no issues with that, but this gave it a little bit more insect feeling. And you know, it's very true to the colors. You still got the purple, the black and yellow as the main color schemes. It's just you get a lot more articulation. In fact, you do get articulation with the new figure, whereas the old one, I mean, if you remember the legs, there was absolutely hardly anything over here at all. So it's a big improvement. And again, look at the size difference. I mean, you know, it's almost double the size. The small figures that we had in G1 line is almost nothing compared to the new guys. And if we compare it to some of the newer figures that we're getting nowadays, here he is next to Deluxe Class Crankcase. So again, he isn't exactly one of the tallest ones. He is a very, you know, I can't even call him a Scout Class. I would probably say this guy is a Scout Class, this guy's a Deluxe, this guy's right in the middle. If it wasn't for his bulk, he wouldn't even consider, you wouldn't consider him being a Deluxe. Alright? So that's pretty much it for him in his robot mode. Let's have a look at his transformation. Okay, so the transformation of this guy is not exactly rocket science, but there is one fairly tricky part that you have to be careful of. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is actually take off these, and we want to take them off with the hook, because we will use that later on, and we do this with both sides of the hands. That's okay, just like that. Alright, the next thing we want to do is with the legs. Now, it doesn't make a difference how we actually position them, we just want to get them a little bit out of the way. This piece then we pick up, we swivel, and we put here, and this actually tabs in fairly nicely on this side to cover up the head. Now, here is first of the tricky parts, and now please forgive me, but my joints on the legs for these guys is incredibly tight, so it takes a lot of effort for me to move things around. The first thing we want to do is move these feet so that they come out like that, around like that, and then we can physically just turn the feet around like that. Just make sure you turn it around so this pointy thing is on the downside, and this thing over here, this little piece over there, will tab in nicely with that side, holding everything securely in place. And then we just do the same thing with the other side, just like that, and we tab it in. Alright, next thing we want to do is physically swivel the whole waist so it's pointing this way. And what this is going to do is going to free up the hands and the front space. And what we want to do is make sure there is enough space on this side, because the hands are literally going to come down there. And this is the tricky side. This thing took me a while to figure out how to do, just because the hands just did not want to move in the right way. Now, the way that we want to do this is that once these hands come down, we want this part, you see this raised edge part, to be vertically straight in front. The first thing we have to do is physically, using his chest piece, lift everything up. See, like that? And then we just bring everything down like that. And you can see this piece over here will extend out completely, and we can have this piece over here. And then it's fairly simple. Just make sure this thing is pointing down, and then we just physically move his legs, bend them down so that this part faces the front, and the hands and arms go inside that hole. Just like that. Alright, you can see the hand sticking out of the back. Now the thing is, there is a little bit of a tab and a peg on this side over here, so once we bring everything down and we make sure it is straight, these things should peg into each other. Just like that. Alright, now don't worry a little bit about this, because this is going to happen anyway. And then we do exactly the same thing on this side. We just move it so the whole thing comes down like that. And then make sure the hands are straight, and then we just fold in the legs with the hands inside of them. And what this will do is physically create the back side of the insect mode. And just make sure that there, it just pegs in nicely. Just like that. Alright? Now, with the legs we have, they are very flexible. Now, they have a little bit of a joint on the back over there, so you can see it. They won't come all the way down, but they don't have to. And then you can just place the legs exactly which way you want to. Now, I'm actually very happy that these are quite sturdy, because the trouble is, if they weren't sturdy, then they wouldn't be able to support the weight of the actual transformer itself. So we just do it this way, we do it this way, and there we go. We're pretty much done with the insect mode. Now, there's only one thing left. Now, if you remember, because he is, I believe, a Hercules beetle, he's supposed to have a whole bunch of horns. And the way we do that is very simply using these. What we do is we can open these up, take them out, and this thing can actually be stored away. You can see there's a little bit of a hole on the inside over there, and we can use this thing to peg it in there. So that's actually nice for you to actually store your weapons. And I love it when Transformers and, you know, even kits and just basically things in general, when you get a lot of weapons and all these sort of things, it's always good to store them away somewhere on the robot or on the vehicle mode somewhere. Otherwise, they're just, either if you just have them out in the open, they are going to get lost, or you have to store them away in your boxes, which doesn't look nice anyway. Alright, so once you have these things back into the forearm parts, using the hook, we can actually put it over here like that. And there you go. You've pretty much got Thundershred in his Insecticon mode. And he looks pretty damn cool. Here he is next to his G1 counterpart, and you can see there is an absolutely huge difference in size There's no comparison whatsoever. This guy really, really is much, much larger than the G1 counterpart. And the cool thing is, you can actually take this thing, which we got for the weapons, and you can actually store it in. You've got a small peg over here, and you've got the hole over there. You can just plug it in there. So that's pretty nice. And there you go. I am actually very, very happy with the way this guy has turned out. And although there's one or two small points of the transformation I don't like, overall, this guy is absolutely fantastic. He looks really cool. He's got a lot of detail. He's got a lot of articulation, posability, and it's just a fantastic transformer. Alright guys, this is Ace. See you guys next time.